Hello and welcome to another exciting Peasant tournament match. This is Steeks, and I'm going to begin the tournament in just a second. Hopefully there's not too much background interference. Hello and welcome. I guess there is. 1 second. To another exciting Peasant tournament. Steeks, and I'm going to begin in just a second. I have no idea why that's going on. Let me just mute. I don't know. I think I'm broadcasting myself. Let me hear 1 second. I got that on, got that on. That is weird. Sent to everyone. I'm broadcasting myself. Oh, let's just hope this works. It could be complete failure. I'm unsure why that's happening. I think it's because I'm sharing the tab instead of the whole computer. I know my voice is playing, and I assume... oh, I know why. There we go. That should do it. Sorry, I apparently was viewing myself in the background, and the delay was causing the echo. Okay, so let's begin. So we have MathuranF versus RedNebula. Not much has happened so far. They're just moving in position. You have the stereotypical elf warriors. Oops. However, they're running mages, which I haven't seen yet. I know people are running them, but I haven't experienced them yet. So you see Electric Porter Novice and Robe of Lightness for trait cycling. I'm unsure what exactly they're using. I saw, I think, one of their builds because Flax didn't send me the builds again, but it's not a big deal. We can always check it in post, make sure no one cheated or anything. Let me double check one last setting. Okay, everything looks good. Okay. So right now, I guess he's just looking for line of sight. That's why he was taking time to look around. He moved in the line of sight. I wonder if he has a block and is just trying to pull some attacks or something. It's an interesting. Black glass token. That's interesting. Interesting choice. Lots of interesting things going on. This is very different from the previous matches, which were pretty much just all warriors and priests. The 111 is interesting. He's an adventuring party. Oops. Oof. That's a pretty strong combo. Unholy Wellspring with Elven Maneuvers, and he doesn't have a priest, so he has no way of removing those buffs, except by attaching a lot of things, which is not really efficient. So right now, unless he gets burst down, this elf warrior is in a really, really strong position. And not only can he draw step attacks from Elven Maneuvers, but he has Unholy Wellspring on him. I'm surprised he used it last round. instead of holding it for now so you get another turn, knowing he'll be going in. I can only assume that he must have some other attachment he wants to play or another copy of it he's saving for next round. So apparently this is an ice wizard, which could make some sense with, I guess, slowing. I'm not really sure the rationale behind that. Most people in the tournament are running elves with cautious mobility, which means they're going to be always stepping one to do attacks. I guess if he hits and runs away, I'm unsure really on the strategy behind using ice. So MathuranF's in a pretty good position. He has control of the victory point square. Oh, there's the other one I was looking for. Yep. And no blocks. Does he get a step? Yeah, he got a step. Or a move, whatever. Is invulnerable. At this point, he might want to try to put an attachment. Even if it's not going to do damage, it could remove Unholy Wellspring, which is potential 12 damage. The problem with Nimbus is that it stops all damage, so you're not going to be proccing your Elven maneuvers, which it's both good and bad. I'm surprised more people aren't running Martyr and just healing, just to keep the guy alive as he just draws insane cards. So I assume he's just a control wizard, and that was his cold was from that. I forget what it was. Chillwood, I think that has Winds of War. So I assume he's just a control wizard, which is really risky in this because essentially you're going to be doing small bits of damage to move people around unless you're using telekinesis, and that's going to proc cautious maneuvers. That's interesting. I guess he's going to be going in for some kind of attack. I mean, he has a lot of cards. A lot of cards. You know, what I would probably have run is some kind of lockdown or something. Is there entangling roots in Peasant? I think there is. Not much going on. Doing a lot of thinking. It's a lot slower match than my previous ones. I guess they have a lot more writing on it. While they're taking their time, I'm gonna look up some stuff. Hope they haven't disconnected. Hope I haven't disconnected. Nope. Blocking mace. Which I'm not surprised. Oof. That's a potentially bad position. There's nowhere to really go. I mean, yeah, I was going to say he could step back here, but if he has a dancing cut, oh, there goes the heals. Double-edged sword. You pretty much just see Bejeweled, double-edged sword, and blocking mace on almost every character. At least so far, I think I've seen a lot of them. Usually they just go pure damage and try to burst the opponent before they can do anything else. Since you don't have other really strong cards like Defender's Block, yeah, I just looked it up. Yeah, there's a lot of entangling root stuff in Peasant. You could just go Oak Roots, which has 3 entangling roots, which pretty much completely would shut down a step elf. Surprised we don't see more of those. So he's passing to get priority, I guess, hoping to either burst them or get away somehow. It's not looking good right now. He's almost stuck in the corner. Can't really get out. If he has a Nimbus, he could be passing priority to get the Nimbus on him. He's within a range. It's range 5. So he could be doing that. That would explain maybe why he got rid of Unholy Wellspring so early. And again, giving up a single victory point is not a bad deal if it's going to net you a kill. Though he still has to be careful about the wizard, even if he can manage to put a Nimbus on him and kill this guy. Interesting. Quick reactions. I guess he assumes he's going to be killing this dwarf in a second. See, I would have gone in one of the difficult terrains. It's easier just to be on difficult terrain and move off. There's no cost. But to him to go onto difficult terrain, it's costly. So let's see if he puts the Nimbus on like I predicted. Maybe not, because he's waiting. I just got him for the heal. Ouch. There's his Bejeweled. So he'll bash him. Not bash. Bludgeon him. Interesting. Surprised he waited. I guess he assumes that he has a toughness or something. Glimmer boots. I don't know what those are. I'm really surprised he just passed. There he goes. See, he just pretty much gave him bonus damage. Because now if he had another attack, he could have killed him. So now would definitely be a time to use Nimbus. Because he just wasted another card. A lot of times you actually don't want to use Nimbus right away. You want to pull out cards. The most important strategy in Card Hunter is maintaining card advantage. Because if the opponent has no cards and you have a lot, then you have tons of options and the opponent can't really do anything to react. Which is why cautious or Elven maneuvers, I always just say cautious mobility, is such a strong card. It gives such a huge card advantage. Same with Martyr's Blessing, and Nimbus can essentially give a 2-card advantage if someone's just passing, because you have to discard down to 2 cards. It could be a 3-card advantage, I guess. But there's like no negative to using it. A lot of cards have costs involved of risk versus reward, such as an attack could be parried to give an opponent a card, or blocked and they could, use surging shield block to move in. There's always costs involved. Things like Martyr and Nimbus, there's no real costs involved at all. You just throw the card down. I mean, I guess in theory, if you have multiple buffs and they, do a purging burst, that's going to cost you more cards. But generally, it's always good to just run tons of Martyr and tons of Nimbus on your priests. There's the White Rune Staff. Yeah, that's where you got the cold from, I think. I wish you could see where cards come from in the battle log. Such a weird oversight. It has everything else, but doesn't tell you where it came from. And that might prove to be too analysis paralysis causing, just because people could look at every card to study where it came from, I guess. I don't know. Sharp bashing, which you see a lot of people use. I'm actually surprised that people use sharp bashing sometimes instead of novice impaling. Let's see. I mean, if he can, the problem with being at 5 life here is he can't use an Unholy Wellspring to kill him with the Curse of Fragility. If he did, then he'd be able to do 2+2 for 4 and kill him. But having a person alive in a map where there's spread out victory points like this, even if he's at 1 life or whatever, is extremely costly. Just because he can just go to this victory point thing and camp. I'm pretty sure that Mathurian has it. Although you never know. It's always luck of the draw. If I was a betting man, I would say Mathurian's going to get this one. And if you look at the time, they've been spending a lot of time. It's only round 3 and they're almost gone all their time. And yeah, he's already down to 1 minute left. Nebula's in a really bad spot right now, not only for time, but he's pretty much stuck just passing. I don't think there's much he can do. The opponent, Mathurian's in a really good spot. Just in pulling him in. I guess maybe he's going to try to kill him with an attack or something. No, that's a weird place to go. I would have gone back farther and just moved away, controlled a victory point. Because right now he's just asking for it. Yeah, now he's just asking for a step right here so he controls both. Or that. He knows he has no blocks, unless he has life-saving block, which is a possibility. But no, that's game. Oh, not yet, but I mean, it's pretty much just game. Does he have a double step? Oh, he only has 1 card left. Let's just risk it all. Hope he has lots of attacks. The opponent has no movement or something. I don't know. There's nothing he can really do. It's pretty much game over. I mean, I guess if he had lots of parries and you attack and he tries to attack him instead of moving, I would probably just move away and then go in. Take wizard, step there, or do that. They're both down to no time at all. Then he steps there and passes, and it's game over. Okay. So Mathurian wins the first match. It's a good match, good match. So now we're going to do the second match. Oops. I guess he wanted to whisper to me so the other person doesn't know he's not sideboarding. It's just fine. The next match is on Maztec Melee, which is a community-created map, and it'll be hosted by Mathurian. Jump Soldier is a really good card. It has a lot of uses that you wouldn't expect. I mean, you can use the obvious ones of moving forward and hitting someone, or causing an enemy to move forward and get hit. However, there are a lot of other little things, such as using it to gain priority by stepping. You can use it to step on a victory point, square, and then pass, getting priority. It's also useful for getting over difficult terrain and then using your normal movement to go for the rest of the distance. It's actually an extremely good card. It's just fairly rare. So I'm going to give him another minute or two. Okay, let's begin. The current state of the game, I think what I would have ran for the Peasant tournament would probably be, I'd probably run 2 elf warriors and a human priest, and the human priest would have roots and martyr. I would just try to out-card advantage the opponent. And just lock them down with roots and then just bash on them. Hope that they weren't running a lot of Nimbus or didn't draw a lot of Nimbus, because that would be a really strong counter to it. Yeah, I always think it's kind of hard to tell that this square is difficult. Novice guidance, interesting. Oh, yeah, twisting, yep. I also think that the shadowing on this map's kind of a little confusing. I mean, I guess it adds to the atmosphere, but in, competitive map, it's more about readability than it is about, I guess, seeing time. I don't even know how a lot of these walls would cast shadows and stuff, but aren't the lights coming from the inside? Shouldn't they be casting out? Whatever, just making small talk. Interesting. Goes into line of sight. Excuse me. I mean, he has a scouting run, so he can get away if needed. Another interesting thing is using scouting run on your own characters if you don't have line of sight to an enemy. It can be used for a lot of things. It does reveal, but I mean, at the same time, if you really need that move. They're going to be stabbing? Nope. A good thing to note is, like, why isn't he, using scouting run or whatever? He has 2 cards, and you can hold 2 cards from round to round generally, so there's no real reason to use them unless you have, more than 2. So, like, one of these cards, if he's just going to discard it, he might as well have used it. So simple strike, that's not going to do anything. Boiling armor, unreliable lock, acid jet. I might have just thrown acid jet down. I guess wasn't really in a position to use it. If you're going to discard it, sometimes, unless you want to maintain priority or hide what your build is, which at this point they probably know most of the builds, you might as well just use them. Let's see. What else did he get rid of? Boiling armor. It's interesting having boiling armor. I would think armor and peasant isn't really that strong. I guess maybe, I don't know. It's hard to get tokenless good armor from peasant items. Usually they're on legendaries. I would have kept the armor on a sideboard and not had it in. I mean, I guess getting rid of toughness, maybe that's why he did it. I'm unsure. Still has line of sight to the dwarf, and he has no cautious mobility or elven maneuvers on, so he's a prime target. I'm pretty sure he's using twisting shields, so it's not like he'll have a surging shield block to move in and hit. Maybe he's thinking, do I want to move away or do I want to stay in? Interesting. Moving back. He probably has a parry. I'd be very surprised if he didn't. I would use scouting run now on the elf, and then determine my attack based on that. Yep. Sharp septum. Yeah, so unless I had parries or knew I could maintain a card advantage, I'd get the hell out of there. He could always move this elf up, and he'll probably step to there to contest. But at this square, it does have line of sight here, so if he moves up and then he moves his wizard over, he could be hit. Though he can't really do much because he has elven maneuvers. It's just gonna make him draw cards. Let's see what he has line of sight to. Not much. I don't think he's running any bursts, because his vulnerability could be really problematic if he's actually running fire. I don't know if you had a sideboard of it. Just burning him, that extra 2 damage on both the first hit and the burn. It's not as strong as combustible, obviously, but it can really, really hurt. Well, that's interesting. I guess you figured get in there to attack them as opposed to trying to gain control of the victory point square. Generally, I would only go for victory point square if I'm in a really good position where I know I can hold it down and get 1, maybe 2, or at least force the opponent to use cards to get to me and thus having a card advantage. On small maps like this, especially where line of sight is so open, it's really hard for non-wizards to really control, because wizards are always going to have line of sight. I mean, like, if you look at the line of sight for this, it's pretty big. I mean, it has both entrances and has one of the sides and another side. Move some here. And it goes to step there. Yeah. I assume he's just going to step here, hit him, and then possibly use Devastating Blow to check for blocks, and then Powerful Hack to hit. Although, at this point, I would probably move my wizard here, ensure I have line of sight if he does step in. So he'll get, 7 damage off or whatever, but I'd be able to control the situation depending on what cards I have. I wish there was a spectator mode where I could see their cards. Like, if they invited a spectator. It's hard to do a lot of commentary without knowing exactly what they have. Most of it's just speculation. I mean, if he has a step attack, he could step here, which means he'd be safe from him. He might have another control card to throw him back, which would be problematic. Can he kill him? He could do... Yeah, so he can do exactly 25 points of damage. So unless he has a block or armor, it's risky to move him here, because if he gets pushed back 1-2 and then just gets wailed on with no way to get out, it could mean instant death. See, so that's a really risky move. He has to hope that this wizard does not have any control. If he has a Gust of Wind or a TK or Winds of War and gets thrown back here without a block or armor, it's pretty much an instant kill. Like, there's no unless that it would force the wizard to come in to maybe pull him out if he has another control. Or problem with pushing him away is he has Elven Maneuver, so if you're going to do any damage to him, he's just going to get right back in. That's really what, besides card advantage, Elven Maneuvers is extremely strong, not only because you're drawing a card, but you're drawing a card with movement. And while there are movement cards that aren't going to help you, if you make your deck in a correct way, that all your movement cards are pretty much just always going to be useful, like always step attacks, or like hard to pin down with movement, or surging shield block with movement and block. It's not like sometimes with card advantage from Martyr's Blessing, you'll be drawing bad cards. You'll just be drawing dead cards here and there. But with Elven Maneuvers, if you make your deck correctly, you'll not be drawing dead cards. Granted, it only looks at 6 until you have drawn a move. I mean, you can't even see all the text there anymore. You need to rephrase that. But It only will look through the top 6 cards, and if it doesn't have 5 in one, then you don't get one, which is, I guess, its only weakness. If you don't stack your deck and build around it, then it's not strong, but I don't know why you wouldn't for 0 tokens. Interesting. That's a good combo, especially when you get a roll. I didn't see what card that came, or what item that came from. They really take their time. I guess maybe I'm just a really fast player. I was Puncturing Dagger, not Bejeweled. I'm surprised. I guess so. I guess he didn't have any control on him. And he just wants to risk. Huh. He's going for the wizard again. I was going to say, that's interesting. But he has a... oof. That's really strong. He procced altruism to get a card and managed to get the block damage heal. I guess reduce damage. Prevent. Okay, prevented damage. He has line of sight on him. What is this from? Glimmering Boots? I don't know what those do. It's a lot of peasant items I don't know, just because I guess I prefer using higher higher quality versions. I have almost every item in the game, so usually I just use whatever's best. There are a lot of commons and uncommons that are just top of the line. You have Bejeweled, Cautious Mobility, Footfall. It's interesting. Blocking Mace is extremely strong. This is why I'm surprised. I guess it worked out because it got rid of his armor. Surprised he had it though. Oops. Huh. That's interesting. I guess he's going to try to kill this dwarf by just surrounding him. He has to have something in there. Lots of heals, which is good. But generally, heals are going to be just weaker than attacks. You know, the strongest heal is 8. The strongest attack that's commonly used in peasants is 11. So you can't you can't outdo it. He had so many cards on him already. I'm surprised he attacked that elf, gave him another card. Wonder what he has there. It's probably something bad. He's just saving it. If it's something weak, he might just be saving it until next round to try to proc the blocks of new draws. They're really low on time. I mean, it's only second round and their time is 1:30 for Nebula. No talking. I was going to say the same thing. Not time, but just shh. Superb Impaling. Interesting. Well, it looks like MathuranF's going to have this game too. He's in a really strong position. He's already killed the opponent, and RedNebula has almost no time left. Oh, I guess he does have a problem with this guy. Can't really go anywhere. I would just pass. Oh, there's flags. I would just pass, and yeah, that works too. Oof, didn't get a card. I don't know what he's gonna do. I would just pass, 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 considering how he has like no time left. Another important thing is to turn your animation speeds up really high. I have them set um, a lot lower than I normally do. Normally I have it as a 9 or a 10. I think this is an 8. Just because, well, you know, I'm spectating, so I want you guys to be able to follow it, although you can pause and rewind. Another thing is, I like always seeing what cards they have coming up, but if I know I'm short on time, I will change the settings just so their cards go. I mean, controlling the clock's important, especially when you're getting this close, if you're both on that low time. All those blocks. Needs to flip them around and then hit them. I don't know. I guess he's just gonna try to kill the priest. Ooh, look at that bug. That's a new one. That looks pretty cool, actually. Pretty sure, even without the time limit, Mathurian would win. I mean, it would be a lot closer. Now he's just pulling the clock out. It's kind of just a, you know, a jerk move, I think, but whatever. See, if you have high animation speed, you can avoid a lot of that. He's just gonna, you know, play whatever, and then he'll lose because he has 2 seconds left on the clock. Yeah. See, even Flaxative saying. Anyways, so Mathurian, yeah. Um, technically, that's against the law, against the rules, whatever. Um, I mean, he's basically just stalling. Anyways, so Mathurian wins. It's kind of a anticlimactic ending, which is the timeout. Yeah, that's fine. Anyways, so I am going to finish cooking dinner. I would say it's stalling because you're purposely delaying just to force time to run down. Anyways, so I'm going to close this down. I'll be back for the game later tonight in 2 hours. See you later. Have a good one and take it easy.